Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Criterion Connection. I'm Wade,
And I'm Scott.
and we're doing a new release that's coming out to the Criterion Collection this month. We're doing a little movie, I don't know if you heard of it, called The Wiz from 1978, directed by Sidney Lumet. You guessed it, Sidney Lumet, the guy who did 12 Angry Men, Dog Day Afternoon, Serpico. Of course, he's going to do The Wiz.
And can I be honest with you? In a way, it kind of shows.
It kind of works because they're trying to do this, urban, like New York City, 1970s New York City, Harlem, rendition of the world of Oz. And I feel like having someone that's a grounded filmmaker that does a lot of movies that are in New York or in like a city, a gritty city. Perfect director to use, I think.
Yeah, and you just touched on it. So essentially, this movie it's the story of the Wizard of Oz, but kind of put through a black lens. The land of Oz put through like a New York City lens. Like when you look at the sets. You know, if you know New York, it took me a while. It wasn't until like the point where they got to the Emerald City and you see the big apple go over that I realized what they were. I really realized what they were doing. They're like, oh, it's not just a city. It's specifically supposed to be like a more fantastical version of New York City.
Our main character Dorothy has never been south of the
125th Street.
Yeah, so it stars Diana Ross as Dorothy. Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow.
Well, I don't think I've heard too much about him, but I thought he did a really good job in this movie. Like seriously, like his singing and dancing was so good. Like I'll bet you that like if he really stuck to it, he could have been really good. Maybe even some kind of a pop king of sorts. I don't know.
Nipsey Russell as the Tin Man and
Ted Ross
as the Lion.
As the Lion.
Who, by the way, I think Ted Ross is probably my favorite person in the movie.
Yeah.
Of the crew. I mean, Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow, he's fine as the Scarecrow. I do like the little thing where, like, he takes, like, little quotes, like, I guess, fortune cookies or whatever, because he's made of trash.
Yeah, and that's how he learns all these quotes.
Oh, and then at the end when he says this really great quote, and she's like, who said that? I did.
And also,
and that's great.
I want your take on this. When you were watching it, whenever they did close-ups of the Scarecrow's face,
a Reese's?
I'm about to say, was his nose a Reese cup wrapper?
I feel like it is.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But going back to what you said about Ted Ross as the Lion, my wife and I, we were talking about this, and I feel that having finally seen the actual Wizard of Oz movie earlier this year, I can honestly say, when it comes to those three characters, I'm not saying that like the ones in Wizard of Oz or the Wiz did a bad job or were whatever, but I feel like with the Tin Man and the Scarecrow, you could really put anybody in those roles, any actor you want, and it could still work. But for the Lion, given like what he has to be and how he has to be it, you really have to cast it perfectly. And I think both the Wizard of Oz, the original, as well as this, found the perfect people.
Yeah,
to be Lion. Ted Ross as the Lion was so great because he was so believable, both when he was completely cowardly and silly, but then in those moments where he had to be brave and showed, he was believable there too, and he was really good.
Here's one thing about the Wizard of Oz. I was always kind of like, this is a side like comment of the Scarecrow wants a brain, right?
Right.
The Tin Man wants a heart, but does the Tin Man have a brain?
I don't think he really cares. Well, I don't think he really cares.
I know it's supposed
for
to be...
him, he just wants to feel. It's not even a matter of whether he does or doesn't. It's just the fact that he just wants to be able to feel.
Yeah.
Whereas, the Scarecrow can feel, he just can't think.
Yeah. But like that was just a little side thing I remember. Of course, the music is produced by Quincy Jones.
Oh my God, the music!
Quincy Jones.
The music in this movie was fantastic. I mean, again, when you see the name Quincy Jones for music, you know you're gonna get quality.
There's some stuff that I really like about the set design. You mentioned the Emerald City is a good one. I really like how they incorporate things like, excuse me, the Tin Man isn't like an abandoned amusement park and it's just an attraction kind of thing.
Yes.
The lion is like one of the little lions that are like at the courthouse.
Well, he's at least hiding inside of one.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know. I don't really know I don't really have an idea like if he was hiding, if that was just like, what his deal was. But yeah,
there's a lot of other stuff that's little things that are like allegories for things, like the scarecrow being like kind of bullied by the crows.
Yeah.
Could that be connected to like Jim Crow law? And just kind of
like
bossing the scarecrow. You have to stay up there. You have to stay up there.
I will say whether that is or isn't the point, I do give them all the credit in the world for not naming one of those crows Jim.
Yes. And
if you did this movie nowadays, somebody would do that.
There is one set that I feel like was not really dressed up, not really changed, not really fantastical, and that was the New York subway. It just looked like a New York subway.
Yeah, complete with man-eating trash cans and living pillars. Which you're telling me not
and
one
weird people have like these little like kind of like these like red like paper mache puppet things.
And you're trying to tell me not one of those pillars was load bearing.
Yeah, like so I felt like they could have been more fantastical with the subway scene.
And what I liked about that scene was, when you get to that whole point of like, you had your courage all along, you had heart all along, you had brains all along. It was a really great example, and honestly something I thought they did better than the original to show that the lion had the courage all along.
Yeah.
How he's like saving everyone from the dangers of the subway, how he, like not only did he save Dorothy from the pillars, but he was also the one that was able to get the gate open so they could escape.
And then sadly he gets kind of tricked by the Poppy Girls.
Yeah.
But it leads to probably my favorite song of the whole movie. It was Be a Lion. When he's like caressing his like head on Dorothy's lap and she starts singing. Great scene. I will say that there is one thing that I think you and me say is the highlight of the film, and that is Richard Pryor inside a giant fire-breathing Richard Pryor metal head.
Yes. I had told you beforehand when I watched the movie, and I said, like, you would probably feel that way, so I'm gonna tell you, you get it. I was like, the whole time I'm watching it with my wife, I'm like, please let there be a giant Richard Pryor head. Please let there be a giant Richard Pryor head. And not only do we get that, but we get a giant, like, robot head that, like you said, breathes fire, and oh my god, it's so good. I
do like the addition they made to his character, that in the original Wizard of Oz, the Oz himself, he wasn't as pathetic, I guess, and had to learn anything as much as Richard Pryor's Oz character is. Like, he just, I don't want to reveal his character traits or what his character backstory is, but
God forbid we spoil this movie from 1978.
They do have the hot air balloon, but there's little extra elements to the character they add to it. I think it's really nice. I do think there's some things that I was not really in love with the film. I think the Wicked Witch was very like afterthought.
Yeah, because
there's nothing wrong with her performance.
She's only brought because up until she's actually seen, she's only brought up twice. She's brought up at the beginning when they tell her, when the lady tells her about the Witch of the East sister, who is the Witch of the West. And then there was the point where he says that they've got to go kill her, and that's it. And like, she doesn't show up or do anything or make any kind of noise until there's like what,
an hour and a half.
Yeah, there's like 40 minutes left in the movie, and now she shows up. Now, to her credit, though, the set in her
so it's like a sweatshop kind of
yeah,
thing.
it was a literal sweatshop, because
Yeah.
I think they even said like she sells the sweat. The set was great. The costumes for the dancers were great. She looked great. Yeah. That costume with the giant throne witch until the song.
It looked like a toilet.
Well, that was the thing. Until the end of her scene when she dies. Spoiler alert for this movie from 1978. It didn't dawn on me until close. I'm like, oh my
Based
god.
on a movie from 1939.
And I'm like, oh my god.
Based on a book from 1900.
It's a toilet. And I thought it was so good. The song, Don't Give Me Bad News song was so good.
It's just, I felt like she was a very afterthought, and it kind of hurt the film because it was like, there was no threat. I know, like, the original.
Well, it's not entirely
what's
true.
What's her name?
Well, it's not entirely
from
true.
The original,
though.
what's her name?
Judy Garland?
No, the
Dorothy?
Wicked Witch.
The Wicked Witch of the West?
Margaret? Is it Margaret?
Margaret Hamilton?
Yeah, Margaret Hamilton. I looked it up because I was like, how much is she in the original? She's only in the movie for 12 minutes in the original Wizard of Oz. So she's not in the movie a lot, but it feels like she has a presence. In this, it feels like the Wicked Witch has no presence until Oz tells them to go defeat her.
Right. But the thing is, once she is on the scene, she's great. And it's just like you said, kind of an afterthought until we get
I also
there.
thought the pacing of the movie is a little long. I felt like some songs, and I'm looking at you, Crow Anthem, went too long.
I would if it were me, I would have cut out the entire Emerald City song.
Yes, 100%.
That song was not very good, and the fact that like they went, oh my god, Caitlin, when we were watching it, she was like, are they gonna literally go through every color of the rainbow? Can I tell you the real son of this movie? Dorothy is not a good dog owner.
No.
So she lets Toto. This whole thing is because she let Toto out by accident, but she did. And then the whole time she keeps leaving him behind, and like Toto has to follow her. She's too busy dancing around. It's like, hold your dog, woman. Hold your dog.
But Diana Ross is great in this.
Oh, Diana Ross is fantastic.
She's the highlight of the whole thing.
I was surprised at how good she acted in this.
Yes.
Diana Ross. You tell me she's in a musical, I know the songs are gonna be good. Even if the song sucks. Yeah. She's gonna be good at it, but she did a really good job with acting, and
she's really great. Like the line delivery, with like when she tells them, "You've always had a brain, you've always had a heart." She feels genuine. She feels like
real. She feels authentic. She feels like somebody that you.
She feels authentic in a made up world.
Yeah, she feels like somebody that you'd see just at the store, or next door or something.
And she learns to like. Don't confine yourself. She tells Oz that. Don't confine yourself. There is one thing I did try with this film. It did not work out very well. This film, The Wiz, does not sync up with Dark Side of the Moon.
No.
Does not.
No, actually it syncs up with Thriller.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. You gotta sync up with Thriller. Like I said, great sets, great performances. It was a very well done movie. The only thing that might be disappointing is the end. Because after all this stuff,
it just ends.
After she gets back from Oz, you think like, oh, maybe she's gonna at least like go up and tell her aunt like, Aunt Em, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take that job, that high school teacher job. No, as soon as she gets back, she takes like 2 steps and then credits.
Yeah.
But if you can get past that, you're in for a treat. I think it's a good movie, and I think anybody could get something out of it.
So that's our thoughts on The Wiz. Let us know in the comment section below what you think of the film.
Did you just do it like the guy on Seinfeld? I'm the Wiz.
No.
That's what I thought you were.
It's called putting emphasis on a word. That's our thoughts. Let us know in the comment section below what you think about the film. Is there any other films that we should do? I know there's other musicals that we have not done yet on the Criterion Collection. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Condish Productions. Be sure to follow us on Letterboxd. Search Criterion Connection. We have all the movies cataloged right there we watched. See how many of you've watched. So until next time, I'm Wade.
And I'm Scott.
And we'll see you later.